These days, it's impossible to be anywhere without someone asking, "Hey, have you tried Genshin Impact?" Like, you'll be in the middle of a freaking raid when some squeaky little voice just randomly blurts out, "Paul Tassi says there's a double XP event in Mondstadt. See ya, guys." And then I'll be like, "But isn't Paul Tassi writing about Destiny? Isn't Genshin Impact just a mobile game?" Then when I tune into YouTube to get my Destiny news, MTash appears with a farming video on Genshin Impact. See, now I gotta know. Rolson gotta know what's going on here. Hi guys, welcome to Gaming Watcher. My name is Rolson, and in this video I'll give you my opinion of Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact has taken the world by storm. The new MMO RPG was released just 6 months ago, but already is massive in terms of active players. To run the game on your PC, you need to download a new launcher, which is just awesome because I was getting bored by the 7 launchers I had already. So already there, it's points for GI. Once I get the game booted up, I'm thrown into this anime fight between some sort of god that has the power to control cubes. Yeah, I don't know, I haven't found out what that's all about yet. Anyways, my sister is eaten by some cubes and then I get eaten myself because apparently I suck that much. Can't even handle cubes. Anyways, now I land in this new world and can understand that I've lost my powers, so now I suck even more, and now I need to regain them so that I can find my sister. There is a constant squeaking sound in my ear and I immediately start fiddling with the sound settings, but it just won't stop. It's like a horrible form of torture, and apparently it's a character in the game called Paimon.
Yeah, Paimon really owes you for that. Otherwise, Paimon likely would have drowned. So Paimon will do her best to be a great guy.
Apparently I caught Paimon with my fishing rod and now I'm stuck with this tinnitus in my ears. I meet a blob. The blob needs to die. Apparently this was a water blob, and there are blobs with many different elements that I will get back to, but the point here is that killing this blob feels kinda satisfying. The combat is smooth and fast and the animations are nice. The blob also drops coin. Sweet! Then Paimon starts again.
Farming depletes stamina, and depleted stamina takes time to recover.
Anyways, this sweet little ear rapist shows me around and we embark on an adventure to find my sister, who is eaten by cubes. After completing some quests, we meet a dragon. Like, oh my god, a real freaking blue dragon, oh my god! It gets mad and storms off, but it leaves a shiny red thingy behind. Paimon says the thingy is dangerous, so we put it away. I'm one big question mark at this point, but I'm intrigued. So we move on and meet some bow lady that joins our party, cook some food, and finally get to the city of Mondstadt. Here we discover that the bow lady is part of some sort of guild called the Knights Favonius or something like that, and that the dragon is called Storm Terror. Then we fight the dragon. What the fuck is this? I guess you can call that a boss fight. And after that we begin to unravel the mystery behind the dragon Storm Terror that is terrorizing the city of Mondstadt. I won't spoil any more for you, the rest you'll have to find out for yourself, but let's just talk about how this game plays. The gameplay here is by far my favorite part of the game, and that's a very positive thing, and it gives me hope for the future of the game because the best games always win on gameplay. Traversal is satisfying because there's always something happening. There are constantly enemies or secret chests or challenges spawning everywhere around you, so while moving from one place to another you always end up doing a ton of stuff on the way. Also, the terrain is very varied and you have different traversal options like sprinting, climbing, swimming, gliding, and all of these require stamina. So there is this constant mini game going on of managing your stamina. On your way, you meet NPCs that give you quests or have stuff to trade or even recipes for food you can cook by their cooking stations. This game is filled with all kinds of mini games and small fun tasks to do. As I mentioned, there are challenges all around that award chests. Some of them are just killing a bunch of enemies and then getting the chest, but some of them have a time limit and bigger boss battle like encounters. They are actually really fun, and again I found myself losing track of what quest I was on just running around and doing these challenges on my way. This is also due to the fact that the combat feels really good. This is kind of the trademark of Genshin Impact, or their claim to fame if you will. The game has a very well thought out combat system where you control a party of 4 members. You collect a lot of characters and then manage this 4-member party to suit your purpose. These members have different abilities, attacks and passives. They also have different elements like water, fire, ice, electricity and so on. The strategic part of the combat system lies in combining these abilities and elements into combos that deal a lot of damage. Of course, the enemies also have elements, so there's a matching game going on in any combat where you have to take into account what element the enemy is to kind of counter that. The animations and controls make it seamless and simple to do battle while still making room for challenge and for you as a player to develop your own skills in battle, not just upgrade your characters. And when speaking of upgrading characters, I want to mention as well that there is a complex upgrading system on characters, weapons, artifacts that you can pick up and equip, abilities and passives. You can upgrade pretty much anything in this game, which feels really good, but also adds a layer of complexity to the game that can be a little overwhelming when you first get started. I'm not sure I have entirely figured out everything, but when I do, guides are coming. The point that I want to make here is that this makes the gameplay very rewarding, since you're always earning some currency that allows you to upgrade something and make your character stronger. So it seems to me that this is a classic gameplay loop of doing combat, getting rewards and using those rewards to level up to do even more difficult combat and get greater rewards. I like this kind of gameplay loop if the gameplay is satisfying like it is in Destiny. And I think that Genshin Impact has really done a good job of making this work. I can feel myself wanting to come back and play this game again and again. Now let's take a look at the visuals, the sound and the world of Genshin Impact. First of all, the visuals are great. For a game of this type that also plays on mobile, I think the visuals are really great. You get the whole anime feel, and with very few instruments the developer makes the very simple look of this game feel alive and beautiful. I kinda get this cozy feeling when I play it, like when I was younger watching anime on the couch eating popcorn. The sentiment of the game is also very joyful and bright, which can be a bit annoying sometimes, but most of the time just puts a smile on my face. It truly feels like you're playing an anime series, and that is not an easy thing to do. Few games do it this well, I think. The sound work is great. The game has a richness of sound effects that add to the satisfying nature of combat, leveling and getting rewards. Also, the soundtrack is really well made and works well to set the tone for the game. You can really feel that someone put love into this game. You get the feeling when moving around in Genshin Impact that this game was created out of passion and not as a cash-grabbing mobile game. Now, they might still ruin that feeling at some point by getting greedy, but as of right now, my feeling about the game is that this is a world that someone created because they were really passionate about it. Just like when you play something like Destiny or World of Warcraft. The world seems interesting. At the point where I am, some lore has been revealed and you're starting to get a sense of what this world is all about. I won't spoil anything, but these elements used in combat are nicely implemented in the fabric of the world and the lore, which gives it all a sort of wholeness. Seeing as this game also runs on mobile, the world is pretty impressive in my opinion. It's pretty big with lots of things to explore, lots of secrets and dungeons to loot, and each region has their own identity and look. Even the NPCs has voice lines when you walk past them. It feels like a real scale open world from any PC game. Speaking of voice lines, let's get into the voice acting and story, because this is where I have some points of critique. So, the story so far for me has been fine. Not great, not impressive, but fine. It's not boring, the content of the story itself is fine and has some level of mystery and tension that makes you want to know what happens further in. The characters also have their own personalities and act like real anime characters. The voice acting is for the most part fine, but sometimes there are dialogues where you kind of feel like maybe the actors had a bad day when they recorded this. It varies in quality, not a lot, but enough for you to notice. Sometimes it's just a laugh that sounds really uninspired and fake, and sometimes it's the whole delivery of a voice line. It's not something that ruins the experience, but you notice it, maybe because everything else is working so good. Or maybe it's because of the boring ass character animations doing dialogue. This is my main point of critique. I have a hard time with games that settle for 3D models slightly moving with blank faces, doing the same gestures over and over again while delivering the dialogue. I understand why it can be necessary to do it like that in some games, but I'm not a fan of it. It becomes boring to me, and that is a shame because the story is actually decent. I'm also not a fan of the clicking to progress the dialogue. Like, I don't mind if I have to choose a dialogue option for my own character to progress the conversation, but having to click every time someone finishes a sentence is annoying. They have an option where you can turn on autoplay, but you have to wait for someone to finish their sentence before you can turn it on, because if you do it mid-sentence, it will skip to the next sentence. That whole system to me has been the only source of frustration. If there is one thing that has made me turn off this game and go play Destiny instead after a while, it's the dialogue. Because there is a lot of dialogue in the beginning of the game and the animations are boring. All of the clicking to progress the conversations. It just felt like the game was slowing down every time I had to go through a lot of dialogue. So several times I have been playing, and after completing some quests and starting a new one, I will stop playing because I just can't handle any more dialogue, so I'll need a break doing some combat in Destiny. I'm sure that this gets better as you complete all of the main quests, but if I had to point my finger at anything in this game that has been a turn off for me, it would be that. Still, having said that, I would recommend playing this game to anyone who likes RPG games, and even better if you like anime as well. Now, as I said, I find myself wanting to come back to the game, and also in such a way that I want to start making videos about it on this channel. All in all, I think Genshin Impact has really surprised me. I thought the game would be a lot more mobile gamey, but actually I think it feels like a real MMO RPG PC game. Which is nice. Now, I don't give ratings on this channel, but this is a clear recommendation from me. If you like MMORPG games, especially if you like anime, because I think if you don't like anime, it can be a bit of a turn off, because it's very anime, very Japanese. But if you like anime and you like MMORPG games, I would try this if I was you. Because it's really fun and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I want to progress. I think the progression systems are fun. I think the gameplay loop is really fun, and as I said, the combat is really fun. So all in all, I really think that this is a great game, and I think it's going to be a big game, bigger than it is right now, and I'm excited to see where they take this franchise in the future. So that is my opinion of Genshin Impact. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, and also subscribe if you like the content here on the channel. I'm going to do a lot more content on Genshin Impact, like guides, reviews, thoughts on the game, and I'm gonna keep making Destiny content as well. So stay tuned for all of that, and as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.